but it's not going to choose how I behave all the time. I just can't let it do it anymore. I'm going to have setbacks, I know. But if I'm feeling bad, that doesn't mean I'm doing bad. That doesn't mean I am bad. That doesn't mean that I can't still take some action.
Leonardo da Vinci famously said, "God will sell you anything at the price of labor." And that is true. So what you have to do is, if you want something, you have to work for it. And most people that think that the world is based off of luck have never truly worked for something. Not enough to understand that luck does not exist. It's merely a game of probabilities. You work hard, you work more, you work longer, and eventually you can increase your odds of success. And you have to increase your probabilities by increasing your skill set.
Do it sad, do it angry, do it heartbroken, do it miserable, do it excited, do it energized, do it happy, do it tired, do it confident, do it discouraged. Do it anyway. However you gotta get it done, make sure it gets done. That's what separates the winners from the losers. That's what separates those that get what they want from those that only talk about what they want. So whatever you gotta do, get it done.
If the future gets clear, the price gets easy. Because you got to remember, for every promise, there's a price to pay. Everybody's got to pay the price. Everybody's got to do the deal. Everybody's got to do the discipline. Everybody has to pay. The price is some classes. The price is a few books. The price is a few disciplines. The price is finding something that'll make your life better, make you grow, make you change, make you develop. If you'll make the promise of the future clear for yourself, the things you want, the places you want to go, the things you want to have, all of the values of life that you could possibly want, if you'll make that clear, make those lists, and be serious about it, I promise you it's an easy price to pay. Anybody can pay it.
If you look the same for long enough and you don't want to, clearly something's not working. I think people kind of fear taking that first step into progress because it's going to result in a change. You know, change can be kind of scary for people.
Many times you have to hear, if nothing changes, nothing changes. If nothing changes, nothing changes. And yet, somehow we expect things to change. You think the world is going to get better without you doing anything, but it isn't.
Did I do jazz yesterday? I'm just gonna do it
Nothing's
anyway.
going to change.
I'm gonna do some flat bench.
What you're doing.
What I'm here to tell you is that
Deltoid,
life
lateral
doesn't happen
raises,
to you. We all think that life happens to
front
you,
raises,
right? Life happens for you. It happens for you.
upright
opportunities will come to you
rows.
every day.
Upright rows for
You
delts.
can remain scared of the opportunities, or you can embrace them and take them.
And probably some curls.
He said, if you
Let's
have
get it.
enough
Throwing on the
reasons,
waist
you
trainer
can
here so
do
we
the
can sweat a little
most
extra.
incredible things.
Bingus here and I
Here's what you might be lacking.
tried to hike a whole
long
mountain
enough
today
list
and
of
we
reasons.
went off trail.
Reasons that drive you, reasons that get you up a little extra early, reasons that keep you up a little extra
We'll
late,
finish it.
reasons that make you a team player, reasons that make you solve the dilemma of your own challenges and then start helping somebody else with their challenges. Reasons. That's what makes the difference.
It doesn't matter what challenges it is that you are facing there. It is the fundamental principle behind it that you do not run away. That you are open for everything that is being thrown at you.
Did I just deadlift that? Oh, I did. See, I don't even think sometimes. I just do things. Well, I guess I can kind of deadlift 135 for 6 pounds still. Nice. I'm so focused. I want to bench press.
I get it. I know life can be tough. I know there are
Fuck,
times
man.
when you come up against something, an obstacle or a setback.
All right.
Someone says something,
Here we go.
or
something just simply happens. You need to realize it's okay.
This is how I'm feeling.
You do have the ability to overcome it. And
that's not your problem. You have a vision issue, but it's not the lack of it. You have a vision issue. You have dreams. If I said, do you want to be rich or poor? You'd say rich. You want your family to be proud of you or not proud of you? What would you say?
Boom.
Be happy or sad? Here's your issue. Your vision is this. It's a depth perception problem. You believe it's further away than it is. You've created thoughts, patterns, belief systems, and actions that perpetually keep it there. What if that's the great lie the adversary uses you to keep you average and ordinary? He uses two lies. You ain't good enough, and it's further away than you think it is. And so you pace yourself. You walk too slow, you talk too slow, you take notes too slow, you do everything too slow. People get around you, they don't get a feeling that you're on fire. They get around you, they don't think their life's gonna change. They get around you, you seem average and ordinary. You're gonna start walking faster, talking faster, and believing it.
Don't be afraid to go for something. Don't let everybody else tell you you can't. The only person who knows if you can and can't is yourself. You might not be able to, but have the courage and conviction and the balls to go for it anyway.
You have to be champion before you become champion. Do you understand that? You have to be the champion in this to be the champion.
I need water.
But I want to be up when anybody in the plan want me to be down. To get the best out of yourself. Not competing with anyone else but you. And that's how we improve as a person. Improving ourselves.
Here's what you must learn to do. Accept the pain, but not the guilt. There's part of our head sometimes that tries to make us feel guilty if we've made a decision that's been painful. Not necessarily, not just for us, but maybe even for other people. But it had to be made. So here's the key: to accept the pain, but not the guilt. Because it's not pain that destroys you. It's guilt.
Visualize it, but also feel it. Like, feel yourself there. Close your eyes, smile to yourself, and feel yourself there.
Expecting it's 20 years from now, the people, places, and things that could deliver it now, you miss. But when you live in anticipation, I'm one decision away. I'm one new relationship, one new client, one new investor, one speaker, one podcast away from changing my life. When you live in expectation of it, you see, hear, and feel things that were always in your field of awareness that you were oblivious to before.
didn't ask for an easy life. I take what comes. If it leaves, I let it pass.
If I've learned anything from life, it's that sometimes the darkest times can bring us to the most brightest places. I've learned that the toughest lessons can teach us the most important lessons. That the most painful struggles can grant us the most necessary growth. Said in times like these, it helps to recall there have always been times like these.
People often say they want to go to the mountaintop because the idea of a mountaintop means that you're at the peak. You've reached the zenith of life, you're the alpha, you're the dominant one. But that's not the way life works. Life isn't about reaching the mountaintop, getting to the peak, because if that was it, it would be the day you would die. Everything is done because there is nowhere to go but down. See, life is not about getting to the mountaintop. Life is about going through the valleys, the peaks, and then to the mountain.
You are going to get put into a storm and you have no control over it. So for a period of time, you're going to get hit with waves of emotion that you have no control over. It's going to knock you off your feet, but over time, that's and those waves are going to get weaker. That storm will pass. That's number one. Just know that that storm is normal, and it's going to pass, and then it's going to still hit you, but over time, those waves are going to get weaker, and they're going to get less frequent.
It's never too late to just start over if you're willing to. Yes.
No, it's never really gonna be easy, but you can do it if you want to. Like we said, hell is when you look at who you could have been and realize that you're not that person. And then I think, if I were to make that man, what would I put that man through to make him who he is? Like, it wouldn't be easy times. It wouldn't be quick wins. It wouldn't even be easy wins. It would be the toil and the struggle of achieving and reaching for things that are right out of grasp.
Sometimes it seems like people need a little bit more pain before they make a change. And change happens when the pain of staying the same becomes greater than the pain of making a change.
Oh, shit.
Are you where you are because of how you act? Or are you acting how you act because of where you are? If you kind of have like an aimlessness that you feel a lot, honestly, I mean, that's not fulfilling enough. That's not enough. You don't have a thing. You just kind of float around and exist. And I think if you have that kind of aimlessness, that should be a call to action to at least start, looking for something.
There are situations in life that you're not going to win. But that's not the test. The test is, what do you do about it in the end when you didn't win? Did you actually figure out what the real test is? What is really important? All right, you think about it, you meditate on it, you chew on it, you take heart. How are you going to face it? How are you going to do it? And what is it really, really all about?
In order to successfully transform your life, commitment must pick up where motivation inevitably drops off. Don't get good, just get done. You'll get good as you go. Get done on your first iteration.
Wow.
Procrastination is a game for weak and small-minded people. Motivation and willpower are never enough to keep you going. Commitment is what is required.
Jesus.
Stop trying your best. Stop trying your hardest. Simply do what is required. You become great as you continually ask yourself, have I done what's required to push the needle forward on my goals today?
Holy
You really want something? Just in my life experience, when you really want something, you will find a way, ultimately. And it might not be today or next year, or 5 years or 10 years, but this thing takes priority and
I
precedent.
don't really want to do this
all
one in
other
sandals.
things. Do I like it enough to get out of this comfort zone that I'm in and to make some sacrifices of my time, of my energy, of my effort? In this life, it's not necessarily guaranteed that you'll get there, but I know what's not guaranteed is you being comfy and getting there. That's not happening.
It's easy to say I want to climb something. It's difficult once the climate changes around you. What do you do and who do you become when there's no one cheering for you? What do you do when there's no one believing in you? What do you do when there is no one but an audience of one? It's you and your work ethic against the rest of the world. Do you still want to climb that mountain? Mountain climbs are for those who truly understand that it's going to be a lonely road. But once you get there, the view is worth the climb.
Life, you have to have no fear. You have to have no fear. You have to believe in who you are and what you do, and just go fucking get it.
I know you might not realize it right now, but one day, all that hard work you put in is gonna pay off. I promise you. Just keep going.
Remember, most people are going to quit. Most people are going to quit. All of your enemies, all the people making fun of you, all the people laughing at you, they're all going to quit. So all you have to do is just not quit. It's so true. Evan, you guys think you're weak. You're really not weak. You allow yourself to behave weak, but you're not weak. But you've got to train that up. You've got to push yourself. You have to put yourself constantly in uncomfortable situations. Hold yourself accountable to results and being tough and pushing through and persevering. And when you get to that point where you think, I can't go another inch, you're only 40% of the way there.
on, Trev.
If you got something that you want, what is stopping you from getting it? An awakening that you should have, kind of a self-reflective awakening, where you can actually understand the fact that you're not just floating through space.
It's yours. Up.
You gotta realize that you're in complete control, right? You're behind the wheel every day.
Life is filled with cracks. Cracks are tragedies, are setbacks, are challenges. But it's through the cracks that the light gets in. So the truth is, we have to look at pain and suffering not as something we invite and welcome. If it does come our way, you have to see it as the ability for a new birthing, for like a paradigm
Who the
shift.
fuck are we?
Happening through some disruption. You go higher.
Warriors!
More low. Because nobody is willing anymore to invest their energy in going higher. Because it's becoming more difficult.
People don't realize is that when you walk through your journey of life, it's education. The world is your teacher. But the thing is, not all of us have the courage to live.
Come on, Pop.
Because we're afraid of failures. We're afraid of mistakes. We're afraid of hardships because that's the bottom of the mindset. But what if I were to tell you to place it all, bet it all, over your own existence, to live your truth? Because through my struggles, I found my truth. The actions that you take, the choices that you make, the decisions that you make, determine who you are. We're the ones who get to die. We're the lucky ones. You only get to
Let's
die
go.
for having lived. Most people who
You're
could
welcome, bro.
ever exist will never even be born. You won the lottery. Most people
Let's fucking
will
go.
never even know there was a lottery.
We still got it, bro. That's
That's
186 for 10.
Take a step back and think about how awesome it actually is. And then recognize that you can attack the world in a totally different way because you were lucky enough to be born during this era.
Life is not going to get easier.
Come back, power.
Your mind and your body become.
Oh my God, I'm seeing it.
More strong.
Oh shit.
Same situation.
I'm seeing it again.
More relaxed.
Holy fuck. Oh.
Why? Because you finally start to find the solution that is within your reach, within your hands.
I almost want to go for 226. I know it's not about the weight, but it's like
You cannot change your life unless you change something.
to simplify it.
If you
I
always
think
do what you always do,
doing
you always
this
get what you
is
always
actually
got.
good.
Why bother?
It feels good on the sciatica right now.
I mean, what difference does it make in the end? Maybe these are some of the voices that you heard going on
Like, fuck
inside
you,
you.
sciatica.
Maybe
Get
it's
back
something
in
you told
place.
yourself out loud. So why try?
226?
What does it matter in the end? It matters because you woke up today. And so many people
206. Okay.
did. You woke up today and took a
Fine.
breath.
206.
Coming
That's
through
fair.
the window. And so
We'll meet
many
in the middle.
people didn't.
Top set.
What you say to yourself?
Back to 200 pound club again. 200 pounds is always 200 pounds. Remember that.
When you fail, you fall
200 pounds will never let you down.
Whatever's going on in your life, it starts to get in your life. Before you know it, it's true. The hardest thing is to start.
Oh my.
Most people are frozen with fear.
I'm having flashbacks
Frozen
and
with the
shit.
how to. Quit worrying about it if you don't have the education. If you don't have all the credentials.
Oh.
You need the vision and you got to be ready to work. You got to go for it.
Okay.
This is the key. Sometimes you just gotta outlast your enemy. He may have you overpowered. He may have you outnumbered. But sometimes you just gotta endure. You gotta have that power to be able to just stay with it until the end, until it's all over. Do not quit.
The mind is a battlefield. You've got to be able to navigate between the things that happen to you and the things that you would like to do. You gotta imagine yourself to be more than what anyone can define. Open up the mind and realize that your talents, your abilities, your gifts have made you unique. There is no scoreboard, there is no stat that can trap or define or confine you to being what you were made to be, and the foundations of the earth in the hands of God
Come on
that
up.
put you on earth.
The dreams that you have still exist.
Nice and
within
tight,
you,
Trav.
And that means there is still the capacity
Yours.
to become a reality. But so many people have lost that opportunity because they didn't wake up today. But you did. You woke up. And you have this chance. You have this chance right now. And the best part is that you don't have to wait till tomorrow. You don't have to stand there and say, if only I had done what I should have done last week, last month, last year. All of that can change right now.
Whether it's adversity, whether it's suffering, whether it's pain, if you choose to run towards it, who you become on the other side of it is a newer, higher, more transcendent version of you.
But you gotta be willing to go to war against the voices that told you you could not become something. Because the moment you decide you want to be great, you can. But there has to be a changing of the mind. You gotta go to battle and silence the voices that have...
Go fucking rep, Trav.
Because you amount to more than what people can count. You see, your potential is limitless. Unless you play. The only one you're in competition with is
Holy
in the
shit.
And that reflects whatever you want to see.
Fuck yes. That's 206 for 5.
You're not as far away from these dreams as you think you are. You're actually a lot closer than you think. But because you think it's so far away, you behave in accordance with that belief system that always keeps it that far away from you. First thing is you need to believe and know that you're one decision, one relationship, one meeting, one book, one thought, one something away from a completely different life. And when you know that, then you begin to look for them.
Not waste the experience. If we look at a journey, something that we want to accomplish, don't turn out the way we want it to, we throw it to the side. Nah, man, I'm cool on that. That ain't it. Right? And we waste the experience.
Come on
Don't
now.
waste that. Learn from it.
Even if you're tired, you can still go to the gym. Even if you're annoyed with your spouse, you can still speak in a manner that's loving. Even if you don't feel like doing that hard work, you can still push yourself to do it. Your feelings aren't a choice. Your behavior and your thoughts are a choice.
Today, I will remind you of a truth that often gets overshadowed by the noise of doubt and skepticism. You were born to be great, and within your life lies the compass that leads to your dreams. It's time to follow that compass, to pursue your passions with unwavering determination, and to silence the doubters and the naysayers. Life is too short to be spent living his dream or bowing to the opinions of those who say you can't. Instead, I urge you to listen to this, your heart.
You do anything, it adds up. When you do nothing, it amounts to zero. So take the small steps every day. Do what you're supposed to do. And don't expect some incredible results in 1 day or 2 days or 10 days. Worthwhile things, they take time. And you go on that mission to upgrade yourself, to become the 2.0 version of yourself. That is threatening, that is scary to the people around you. They don't know this version of you anymore. They can't relate to you.
Maybe your story isn't to receive the opportunity from somebody else, or maybe your story is to make the opportunity for yourself. To step out on life, to play for loud. No more playing small. You were never made to play small. You were meant to play for loud. And I want to see it happen. Because I know that you are capable of it. I don't care what you've been told in the past. I don't care what you've told yourself in the past. But as of right now, everything changes. Go get it.
Okay.
life is so difficult and challenging that unless you give it everything you have, the chances are very high that it will embitter you, and then you'll be a force for darkness and not good.
Oh, it's real.
Well, it's that time of year again. We're starting to feel real happy. Why? Because we're not going to work. It's a real good time of year. So
The
in that
fuck's
good time
wrong
of
with the
year,
camera?
we start to feel real good about ourselves. So I start to feel great. So we start making promises to ourselves about, hey, I'm gonna lose some weight. I'm gonna do better in school. I'm gonna be better here, be better there. But guess what happens? The real Merry Christmas happens when all of that noise is gone. It's quiet. And it's you against you. And now all those endorphins are gone. And I promise you made by getting up early and getting after it to go lose weight, study harder, guess what? It's a lot fucking harder now. That repetition becomes a lot harder now. Stay true to yourself, stay hard.
Give it up.
I know it's supposed to be fucking
You know the war that
hard.
you have to really fight is the war against yourself. You have to fight the war against yourself. No, it's not easy to look in the mirror and to change your own life.
Fuck everybody that doesn't believe in us. Come on. We're gonna go out. We're gonna become the best version of ourselves. We're gonna inspire other motherfuckers to win. And because of us, this world will change. So my message is very simple. Give yourself permission to be the bad motherfucker that lives inside your heart that you are afraid to tell anybody about. Because we all have that version of ourselves, and keeping that version of ourselves is the greatest tragedy of our entire existence.
For things to get better, you gotta get better. Don't wish it was easier. Wish you were better.
I think the biggest disability that we have as human beings is unbelief. Everything starts with a vision, and the man without vision dies. But unless you know three things: number one, who are you and what your value is? Number two, what is your purpose here in life? And number three, what is your destiny when you're done here?
Yourself have to be tough. That's the biggest battle that you're having with yourself. What you say to me, you tell me what I can or can't do, will not affect me, discourage me unless I allow it to. If you want to get to your dreams or accomplish your goals, you have to be able to deal with yourself. Stay positive. Don't talk to yourself in a negative way. Continue to stay on your path. Continue to get better and better and better. But you can't do that without first being inwardly tough with yourself.
The goal that you seek, or the prize that you're seeking, is in the work that you're not doing. No matter where your goal is, in terms of its height, or how delusional it may seem. Just look at it and figure out whether or not you'll get there later.
1 day in the gym is basically imperceivable. 2 days in the gym, you don't recognize any change whatsoever. 100 days in the gym, and you're almost a new person. When you do anything, it adds up. When you do nothing, it amounts to zero. So, small steps every day. Do what you're supposed to do. And don't expect some incredible results in 1 day, or 2 days, or 10 days. Worthwhile things take 100 days. They take time. And whatever it is you want to do isn't going to happen in 1 day. You have work to do. And I know it's just a little bit. I know it's just a little tiny movement forward. But that work is what it takes.
What's it gonna take? What's it gonna take for you to finally abandon the life that's destroying you? To finally be the person that you keep telling yourself that one day you're gonna get around to being? What will it take? How many years wasted? How many moments of regret? How many disappointed looks in the mirror? How bad does it have to get before buckling down and doing the work required to be the best version of yourself seems like the better
and my
path?
fucked
Because
up eye
one
and
day
just
you're
hiking
gonna
a
run out of
mountain
years to waste and
all
moments
day,
to regret.
I'll take
One
226 for a
one
triple.
day won't be an option. So instead of one day,
I wrote injury
how about
PR.
2 day?
226 times
Don't quit when it
3.
hurts. Don't quit when you
It's
feel
just
like
like,
it's hard. Don't quit when you
this
fail.
isn't like a
Don't
lot
quit
of
when
weight
it's
to my
impossible,
former self,
when it's
so
inevitable, when it's unlikely, when it's unpopular.
something inside me wants to keep going up, but I know I need to be smart because I'm not completely healed. And although I feel a certain way right now, I need to think smart. So I'm gonna drop
The fact that
and
life is
rep the fuck
short
out now.
and can be brutal, can terrify you into hiding and avoiding, but it can also, you can flip that on
So
its
let's
head
just
and
drop
understand
40
that
pounds
since you're all in
and hit
anyways,
186 for,
you might as well
I said I like 6.
take the risks that are adventurous.
Why would you not go for it? Why would you not take a chance? At one point in time, you got to take a chance on you.
Everything that hurts you, find a way to overcome it. Everything that you feel is difficult for you, find a way to still do it. As long as you can do the things, stop listening to the mind.
Six.
It's a lot easier to sit around and make a list of what you're going to do in the future. What's easier? It's easier to take out a pen and a piece of paper and write things down. And so people will substitute that action for the action that will actually change them and make them better and move them closer to that version of who they know they can become.
Come on up.
Just be careful. Be careful of getting caught in that planning phase of who you can become. Be careful of that. Planning phase should be about 3 seconds long. And then it's time to go get after it.
I'll tell you where things go. They go to the planning place, preparing myself. And it's the biggest crying job we do on ourselves. Therefore, you call in the big dreams and that graveyard. Where people, there's always going to be a set of reasons to wait.
When you want to achieve the highest goal of all time, you are going to have to learn how to get your ass kicked all the way up that damn mountain. If I want to be way up here, it's going to take a bunch of small, micro failures along the way. But you have to understand that that is part of the process.
The reality is when you do things that are easy in life, you don't value them as much. When you do things that are difficult and that require you to dig really deep, then you value them more. It's easy to quit. It's easier to try something that's already been done before. It's harder when you don't know what the end result will be. It's harder when you face the uphill challenge and you deal with it. You face it head on. It's where you build confidence in yourself. That's where you build your own self-esteem. You know, things are given to you. You never have a sense of how difficult it is to actually earn it.
Regret hurts more than discipline. Because when you're disciplined and you act on the things that you're supposed to do, you won't ever have to look back and say, dang, woulda, coulda, shoulda. So do it now so you don't have to do it later.
The most powerful voice you'll ever hear is the one inside your own head. Because that voice is often fueled by fear and insecurity. Your mind can remind you of the past. It can criticize you and make you question your self-worth. But you can change that. Don't be afraid to question the stories you create in your head. Focus on what you want, and you'll start to see opportunities where obstacles once were.
You get up in the morning, what are you going to do today? I'm going to win today. Well, just by saying that you're going to win today, you ain't going to win today. It's a jungle out there. See, most of us, we come out to compete every single day. The jungle comes to win, because the jungle is always prepared.
You know, the things that you think about all the time, that you don't tell anybody, right? You can do that thing. You actually can achieve it. And you should believe in yourself. You should believe in those things, because they're there for a reason. They're not in your mind, they're not in your heart, just to be there.
Whenever you feel negative or unhappy about anything, you say, wait a minute, I'm responsible. I'm responsible for my life. I'm responsible for what happened. I can't change the past, so I'm not going to spend a second worrying about the past.
Your time is limited, so don't waste it living someone else's life. Don't be trapped by dogma, which is living with the results of other people's thinking. Don't let the noise of others' opinions drown out your own inner voice. And most important, have the courage to follow your heart and intuition. They somehow already know what you truly want to become. Everything else is secondary.
Your biggest enemy is you. People don't understand it's you against you. The only person that gets in your way is you. Nobody else. Being stuck is a signal that you've stopped growing. And when most people feel stuck, they don't understand that it's tied to a fundamental need for growth. We believe it's an existential crisis and we blow up our lives. For most human beings, what actually will get you feeling like you're not stuck is having something in the future that you're looking forward to. Learning anything gets you back in touch with a fundamental need. It makes you start to feel like things are moving, and from that place of feeling a little bit more empowered, you'll be able to make better decisions about what big things need
Oh
to
my
change
God,
in your
something just said do some rack pulls.
Your current situation is not your final destination. There's more to your life. And I know right now it's hard for you to believe that, but I need you to believe it. Like everything you're currently facing is building you for something greater. You're more than your struggles, you're more than your pain. I know you feel like nobody understands you, nobody gets you. I know you feel alone and isolated. So I want to tell you, I'm proud of you for not giving up. But it's so easy to.
I know what darkness looks like. I know what it feels like to be alone, with no motivation, no drive, no passion. And what has to come out of your fucking soul in the darkest of times. But if you are able to get up every morning, have no passion, no drive, no motivation, and still get up with that kind of fire, you will be successful in life. I guarantee you that.
The darkest place someone can be is standing still. The darkest place someone can be is when they are alive.
I don't know what that means,
but they are
but
not.
locked in just means
The darkest place someone can be is when
tunnel
they are
vision
no
to the
longer
extreme.
making
A
progress.
set goal in mind.
Everyone talks about the destination, but very few people talk about the
and
journey.
knowing what you need to do
That's
in
where
the
the iron
present
is
moment
forged. In the monotony of doing the right thing day
to
in
get there.
and day out.
And
your part of the deal is
something,
to
my
keep showing
intuition or
yourself,
just
to stick around
whatever,
and see what
saying do
happens
some rack pulls.
when you really go all in.
So that's
Don't just settle for mediocrity. Just hold
Gotta
up your
get
end of the
this bitch
bargain
out of here first.
and watch how life will turn in your favor.
And here we are. Just like that. It can go two ways. Wow. Oh.
You can't avoid the peaks and valleys in life. They say you can't avoid the peaks and valleys in life. Life will always have the ups and downs, so make peace with it.
How hard are you really working? I don't know about you, but I don't encounter many people who are completely committed to their craft. In our society where it is very unpopular to have a sickening, completely committed, dedicated work ethic, it's not the norm. I believe people who think this way don't know what it's like to push yourself to the limits. Don't know what it's like to work your absolute best, give everything you have, sacrifice, commit. Work hard, and that feeling of growth, of progress, of even reaching a milestone in your journey. How amazing that feels.
Consistency is even rarer than talent or enthusiasm. Every January 1st in the gym, rock open, everyone's keen to do something, they've got these New Year's resolutions, they're all enthusiastic, and some of those people will be talented. But how many of those people end up being consistent long term?
Death is not waiting behind that door right now. Every second you are between life and death. One day it just stays with this, then this is going to happen. So in the moment where you realize it could be my last action right now that I do, having this type of thought on the mind, it could be your last, hopefully makes you wake up to really focus on the things that are important for you. Because many things are starting to fall away when somebody tells you, look, you only have 1 more week to live. Many problems that at the moment people are caring about, they will just disappear. Then they wake up and realize this shortness of life. How precious it actually is that we are able to
live your life the way that you want to lead your life. Ladies and gentlemen, as I speak to you right now, if you had 90 days to live, how many of you will make some radical changes in your life?
If you look at Nelson Mandela, if you look at Mother Teresa, if you look at Mahatma Gandhi, who died with under 10 possessions, these people were world changers. These people were radical optimists. These people suffered because the root of the word passion means to suffer. They suffered for their dream. They suffered for their values. They suffered for their cause. They suffered for their followers. They suffered for their greatness.
Game of life are people are going to hit you, they're going to claw you, they're going to scratch you, they're going to bite you. It's just a part of life. And instead of taking everything personally, you have to see that it's like a gladiator battle, and that some people are bad, some people are good, some people are not, or in between. But stop taking everything personally and try to learn from it. So if you make a mistake, what you want to do. If you have failure in life, something didn't go right, you want to have the ability to look inward and say, what did I do wrong? And a lot of people don't have that inner strength. But if you want to be successful, if you want to get ahead in this world, you have to develop the skill. You have to be able to look at yourself as if you were somebody else, as if from the outside, and say, here's how I could improve. Here's what I did wrong the last time I did it.
Great life is in front of you. It's not behind you. What you did back there was learn the lessons to get you to where you are at this particular moment right here. Do you know, man, that you can actually mess your life completely up? You can jack it all the way up, and you can turn around and get it right.
What type of reality are you even living? What type of reality are you living? Are you living a proactive reality where you're continually problem solving and looking at all the different ways that you can manipulate, guide, or push your reality that you want in your favor? Or are you living a reactive reality where you just continually allow what is going to happen? Well, I can tell you right now, if you live in a reactive reality, you need to stop.
15,
if you really want to
14,
live the life of your dreams,
13,
you've got to start
12,
living a proactive
11,
reality.
10.
So if you're in the woods and you don't know where to go, start walking. You gotta start walking because it's not gonna change. You have to start moving forward. You have to start taking steps in order to improve your vision, improve your perspective, change your perspective, make some kind of progress. And worst case scenario, you figure out that you walked the wrong direction. Okay, now you can walk in the other direction. And that's gonna be fine.
Alright, we'll be right back after these short
not doing anything
messages.
is just waiting to die, waiting to starve to death. Don't let that happen.
Everything that you are, everything that you're becoming is a resilient pad of growth. On that pad is a launch. That's where you take off. That's where you find out what you're really made of. It's not about waiting until the end and one day you'll go after it. Make today day one. Today is the day that I decided I wanted to be great, so I'm going to do it. I decided I want to go after my goals, after my dreams. That's the mindset that you have to have. Because today is the day you were given breath. I'm here with a purpose and live on purpose. Not off of your resume of where you've been, but on the direction and understanding of where you're going. There's a call on you. It's time for you to answer it.
Taking responsibility doesn't mean you blame yourself. It means you become accountable for everything that happened. Because it's the only way to improve. It's the only way to see real progress. If you're constantly blaming something else for your circumstances, it means you're giving up the opportunity to be in control. It might not be your fault, but it's your job to make the most of every situation and do the best with what you have. So do it. Take responsibility for all of it, because that's when things start to get good.
Where'd the motivation go, guys? What's going on?
You can't avoid the peaks and valleys in life. They say you can't avoid the peaks and valleys in life. Life will always have the
Are we ready to go?
So make peace with it.
Come on.
How hard are you really
What should we do?
working? I don't know about you, but I
Fuck,
don't
where's
encounter
Cougar?
many people who are completely committed to their craft. In
Where
our
the fuck
society
is
where
Cougar
it is very
tonight?
unpopular to have a sickening, completely committed, dedicated work ethic. It's not the norm. I believe people who think this way don't know what it's like to push yourself to the limits. Don't know what it's like to work your absolute best, give everything you have, sacrifice, commit, work hard, and that feeling of growth, of progress, of even reaching a milestone in your journey. How amazing that feels.
Consistency is even rarer than talent or enthusiasm. Every January 1st in the gym, rock open, everyone's keen to do something, they've got these New Year's resolutions, they're all enthusiastic, and some of those people will be talented. But how many of those people end up being consistent long term?
Right.
Death is not waiting behind that door right now. Every second, you are between life and death. One day, it just stays with this, and this is going to happen. So in the moment where you realize it could be my last action right now that I do, having this type of thought on your mind could be your last.
Yes.
Yeah. Makes you wake up.
Yeah.
To really focus on the things that are important for you.
Yeah.
Because many things are starting to fall away when somebody tells you there's only 1 more week to live. Many problems that at the moment people are caring about, then they wake up and realize this shortness of life. How precious it actually is that we are able to be here.
Live your life the way that you want to lead your life. Fantastic. Ladies and gentlemen, as I speak to you right now, if you had 90 days to live, how many of you will make some radical changes in your life?
If you look at Nelson Mandela, if you look at if you look at Mahatma Gandhi, who died with under 10 possessions, these people were world changers. These people were radical optimists. These people suffered because the root of the word passion means to suffer. They suffered for their dream. They suffered for their values. They suffered for their cause. They suffered for their followers. They suffered for their greatness.
Game of life, our people are going to hit you, they're going to claw you, they're going to scratch you, they're going to bite you. It's just the part of life. And instead of taking everything personally, you have to see that it's like a gladiator battle, and that some people are bad, some people are good, some people are not, or in between. But stop taking everything personally and try to learn from it. So if you make a mistake, what you want to do, if you have failure in life, something didn't go right, you want to have the ability to look inward and say, what did I do wrong? And a lot of people don't have that inner strength. But if you want to be successful, if you want to get ahead in this world, you have to develop this skill. You have to be able to look at yourself as if you were somebody else, as if from the outside, and say, here's how I could improve. Here's what I did wrong the last time I did it.
Great life is in front of you. It's not behind you. What you did back there was learn the lessons to get you to where you are at this particular moment right here. Do you know, man, that you can actually mess your life completely up? You can jack it all the way up, and you can turn around and get it right.
What type of reality are you even living? What type of reality are you living? Are you living a proactive reality where you're continually problem solving and looking at all the different ways that you could manipulate, guide, or push your reality that you want in your favor? Or are you living a reactive reality where you just continually allow what is going to happen? Well, I can tell you right now, if you live in a reactive reality, you need to stop. Because if you really want to live the life of your dreams, you have got to start living a proactive reality.
So if you're in the woods and you don't know where to go, start walking. You got to start walking because the perspective's not going to change. You have to start moving forward. You have to start taking steps in order to improve your vision, improve your perspective, change your perspective, make some kind of progress. And worst case scenario, you figure out that you walked the wrong direction. Okay, now you can walk in the other direction. And that's going to be fine. But standing there, lost, and not doing anything, is
Well,
just waiting
it's
it
been an
out.
hour. It says a short pump. I gotta do the inversion table now. Alright. I want to keep going.
Everything that you are, everything that you're becoming is a resilient pad of growth. On that pad is a launch. That's where you take off. That's where you find out what you're really made of. It's not about waiting until the end and one day you'll go after it. Make today day one. Today is the day that I decided I wanted to be great, so I'm going to do it. I decided I want to go after my goals, after my dreams. That's the mindset that you have to have. Because today is the day you were given breath. I'm here with a purpose and living on purpose. Not off of your resume of where you've been, but on the direction and understanding of where you're going. There's a call on you.
I'm stuck.
It's time for you to answer.
Taking responsibility doesn't mean you blame yourself. It means you become accountable for everything that happened. Because it's the only way to improve. It's the only way to see real progress. If you're constantly blaming something else for your circumstances, it means you're giving up the opportunity to be in control. It might not be your fault, but it's your job to make the most of every situation and do the best with what you have. So do it. Take responsibility for all of it. Because that's when things start to get good.
Let's talk about the most important thing one can do while navigating the trials and tribulations of life. The thing that, as far as I can tell, supersedes all others. The great equalizer of human beings. One's ability to get back up. You simply cannot defeat someone who, despite the inevitable obstacles life presents, rises to their feet again and again. You can't take someone down who molds the adversity they face into armor they wear. No, those people are gods of their own worlds. They are immune to the shackles that hold most back. See, the world is unpredictable. It's challenging. Often it takes everything we have, right? Even the most planful and most prepared are at some point taken down. Even the most skilled will at some point find themselves outmatched. There are no perfect roads, and there are no flawless performances. No one wins all the time, which implies necessarily the ones who create meaning in the world are the ones who shape it from that chaos that surrounds them. Who, when brought to their knees, refuse to roll over and look at the world from their back, but instead rise with a more thoughtful, aware, focused, depersonalized approach. Life is not happening to you, it's happening for you. It's not giving you problems, it's giving you building blocks. The differentiator is some people build walls around themselves, and some build staircases to the moon. But ultimately, we are all building something. You might ask, really? Rising when you fall? That's the most important thing? More so than courage, strength, intelligence, confidence? More than faith, contentment, success, growth, joy, more than love? And my thought is 100%. Because you don't get any of those things without the ability to rise in the face of their opposites. Being those things means fighting for those things, and fighting for those things means a commitment to stand, to reach for them. Even when the world says no,
Oh my God,
even
hi.
when the road is long. If you learn to rise when you're fearful, when you're tired, when you're lost, confused, or angry, if you promise yourself getting back up and not up for debate, that there will be no negotiation, that it's what you do and who you are, you simultaneously hold the world in the palm of your hand. See, most focus on avoiding the ground. And because of this, they find themselves disheartened when life is, well, life. We've all been there, right? Sometimes you cannot avoid falling. Sometimes the ground comes to you. Sometimes you get no say. And the ones who find meaning in the pain, who brush themselves off and carry on into the night, well, they're the ones with the power to change themselves and the world. Someone once told me that no one further along than you will ever try and bring you down. There's the people who see you pursuing your dream and are reminded that they've given up on theirs that usually make the most noise. And, knowing this essentially invalidates all criticism. Who cares, right? It's the metaphorical dog nipping at your ankles. One, is to be expected, and two, often best ignored. Right? The question is, are you able to separate it out as just part of the process? Can you ignore all that stuff that's sort of hovering around you as you walk your path? Or do you let it in? Do you personalize it? Do you make it bigger than it is? Imagine a world where you protected dearly the things you let into your mind. You understood that things don't happen to you, they merely happen. And you get to choose what they'll mean. Imagine if you lived with enough conviction to do what excited you, what felt right, knowing that, sure, some folks might have something to say, but that's just a tiny variable in the great play of life. It's rain on a summer day. You pick up the umbrella and you carry on. It's hard to describe, but we never really understand how little these social variables will mean until some time has gone by. I often think about being younger and caring so much, right, as a kid about being quote-unquote cool or uncool. I didn't say, wear, or do certain things because, fitting in was so important. I cared what my friends or classmates might think. We all did, right? And looking back now, it's like, what would I tell that version of me? It's pretty easy and pretty clear now, actually, as years have passed. I'd say, do what feels right. What we often fail to realize is that that very same concept applies to the present day. The things that feel big now probably aren't, right? They're little details masquerading as life or death decisions. Just like they were when I had to have, that Power Ranger backpack or my life would be over. It's fear of judgment. But I learn again and again what really matters. Was I good to the people around me? Did I do what mattered to me? And did I do it with conviction? I think it can be that simple. Hold tightly the meaningful things and don't let the other noise infiltrate your peace. In early 2020, I decided I'd go to North Carolina for a little bit. And I wasn't exactly sure how long, but I knew that I needed to go. It felt right. I had a friend up there, some work I wanted to do up there. And so basically, I got rid of so many things I owned that what was left fit into my little two-door Cadillac. That's not a lot of things. And,
oh no.
Time up there, got a lot done. When it was time to go back to Florida, I'm planning my trip, and I realized, oh my God, I have a U-Haul full of things. Having a little place to stay, right? Eating basic things, some cheap furniture, some technology. And not because it was intentional, but because it was unintentional, right? Because when you don't pay attention, our natural inclination is to pick unnecessary things up. I think our personal lives are similar. We collect things without protecting the core that matters most, allowing life to ultimately become so cluttered.
You hungry?
We can't differentiate.
Yeah.
How can you tell what's important when you have a U-Haul full of things? What's important when you
Happy
let
dance.
too much
Happy dance, happy dance.
You end up with shelf space for the opinions of those
Wet
who wouldn't
food.
even come by and visit if you were in the hospital. The words
For the
of
big
people
bear.
who don't have your best interest at heart. The fears of what could go wrong.
Good boy.
The ego not allowing vulnerability.
Wait, sit.
These things have no teeth when life is simple. Protecting your world is one of the most powerful things you can do. Being the gatekeeper for your mind is strength. Criticism, haters, justice. It's not that these things don't exist, it's that they will fall around you like rain as you move on to better things. You don't stop because of them, just like you don't go because of them. You simply exist with and move alongside them. You understand why they're there. But you don't give them the luxury of infiltrating your inner peace. You do not let them in. Your world within is precious. And as you navigate the external world, we have to choose wisely what gets permitted. Recently, I was thinking about something a friend of mine named Tom told me a few years back. He owns a company in Oklahoma City and was telling me about how someone he'd hired essentially stole from him. And the first question that came to my mind as he was telling the story was, okay, what are you going to do about it? And I asked him the question, and he was kind of quiet for a second, and then asked in his southern accent, Eddie, if a snake bites you, are you going to chase it into the woods to get your revenge? Or are you going to get the medical attention required to save yourself? Basically, are you going to focus on the past? Or on what to do from here forward, right? Basically, he cut ties with the person, but had moved on. Was already thinking about next steps that were best for him, his family, and his business. And I can tell you, since hearing that, it's become an incredibly valuable idea in my life. Especially as you realize that there will never be a shortage of problems. You do what you can to avoid them. You try to steer clear when possible, but adversity will always be a factor. It's about knowing that and stepping into it regardless. It's something that's always intertwined in our development, and I find value in asking myself, is this action I'm about to take conducive to my growth and my happiness, or am I just chasing snakes? Does this just feel good in the short term because I'm angry or I've been wronged or something along those lines? Especially since most harm inflicted on others derive from incompetence, not malice, and I truly believe that. I think very frequently we attribute sinister motives to others when 99% of the time it's sheer stupidity. It's imperfect humans trying to navigate an often complex world. We make mistakes. Now, I'm not suggesting you don't stand up for yourself when you've been wronged or slighted. Of course you should. But the magic is in not personalizing the situation. By possessing the emotional IQ to understand, hey, look, it's not about me, but whether I can salvage this situation from here. And that depends solely on how I choose to look at it. Emerson wrote, people do not seem to realize that their opinion of the world is also a confession of their character. And what a powerful point. The flexibility and the leeway available to us when it comes to making sense of the world speaks to not how the world is, but how the onlooker thinks and interprets. Depersonalizing the situation is one of the greatest superpowers at our disposal. When you're angry and accusatory, you will, as Tom put it, end up chasing snakes. You'll end up breaking things that will need to be rebuilt and uttering words you'll wish you'd never spoken. But the 5 seconds required to pause, to collect yourself, and realize that you are in control is everything. The ability to see the person, the situation, or the world not as an adversary stacked against you, but as an inevitable challenge that must be managed. So how will you choose to manage it? How will you choose to arrange the pieces? And by the way, I'm fully aware a constant theme for my speeches and podcasts and videos is the act of pointing not out at the world, but in at ourselves. My responsibility, my fault, my problem to deal with. I understand just how heavy that is, how hard that can be. Especially when deflecting blame often feels like it would just be a tremendous weight off of our shoulders, when revenge feels like the easy, intuitive move. But again, it's short-term relief. To truly grow, to find the calm and happiness and meaning we long for, it's the internal relationship with ourselves that matters most. It's the ability to say, I may not have created this, or even, I may have made the mistakes that brought this to life, but I can't fix it. until I look at both the situation and my own reflection and proclaim it's mine now. Let the past be the past. Now it's me and the present. And as far as I'm concerned, the present and opportunity, they are always one and the same, so long as we choose to see it that way. It's not what you look at, it's what you see over and over and over again. Is it happening to you or for you? Is it a problem or an opportunity, a setback or a chance to reset? I want to bring to light a story, one that I've told before, but it's so perfectly representative of the conversation. You know, Jim Rohn talking about two brothers in an abusive household, alcoholic father, terrible childhoods. You know, they grow up and both of the sons have families of their own. One is the exact same as his father. He's abusive and he's angry. And the other one is a great father. He's kind, he's loving, he's supportive. And when asked why, the abusive brother replies, "Look at my childhood, right? How could you blame me for this?" The other brother, when asked, responds, "Look at my childhood, right? How could I let myself treat my family the same way?" And in a way, one spent his life chasing snakes, bitter, resentful. The other one asked, "Well, that was terrible, but what can I do to right the wrong?" One personalized it, the other used it as a lever or a stepping stone. And this is, of course, a simplification, but I believe every struggle we face in our lives at its core contains some element of this choice. From the little things to the big things, where do I go from here? It's mine now, and I can choose whether to make it better or worse. Chase the snake into the woods or march forward to find the value and right the ship.
And God bless.
Remember that when it's hardest, when you least want to.
Stay blessed, chat. Don't
Remember
stress.
that the present contains
bro,
every
just
single
impressed.
thing you need to begin a
Be
journey
you.
to recover, to
Wholeheartedly.
growth, to contentment and meaning.
Unapologetically.
You,
Chase
on
your
your end,
dreams, chase your
though,
goals.
need to be willing to slow down the moment.
Better yet,
Need to be willing to collect yourself and give yourself permission to take that necessary and appropriate step.
Don't listen to the haters, my mans. They're secretly your biggest fans. Trust the process. Stay clear. Naysayers are everywhere.
I recently came across a simple yet powerful idea. It's that when you become accustomed to doing the hard things, life becomes easy. When you become accustomed to only doing the easy things, life becomes hard. It's a trade-off of sorts. A little example that I think epitomizes this idea. I recently just started cold plunging in the morning. Right? So right now, I'm doing about 6 minutes in 38-degree water. And I'm thinking my body will acclimate to it over time, that it will get a little bit easier as I, move forward into this. But right now, it's pretty uncomfortable. But, you do what